Hi guys, don't be mad. I know you're mad. Listen, and I'm sure like I'm losing subscribers. Please share my videos when I put them all up. But I've got so many, and the reason why is because I'm doing the classes for, I work more than 40 hours a week, and I'm doing parenting classes for foster care. And honestly, okay, so I fucked up really bad. So, and I've done a bunch of videos. I just haven't had time to edit the damn things. And it's just been so hard. So here's what happened. They left a packet on my porch, I don't know, a month and a half ago, and told me, this is the date the class starts. So I was like, okay. So then these classes are 3.5-ish hours every Wednesday night. I have one left. During the course of this, in the manila envelope they said you have there's 2 girls on a Zoom, and usually they do it face to face, but we're on Zoom. So now they say, well, you have to, after every class, there's a cluster and questions, and you have to finish the cluster and do the questions. So I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds good. So I looked through the PowerPoints, the stuff they left on my desk, the stuff they left on my porch, and somehow I miss that clusters are not the questions at the end of the PowerPoints. Those are more for, okay, one girl calls it PowerPoints, the same thing, and one girl calls it packets. So unless there's a third thing that I don't know what it is. So I thought PowerPoints, packets, clusters were all the same thing. I had no idea that I wasn't doing the other more than half every week of what we're supposed to be doing. So they said on the second, whatever you want to call it, they said on the second class, at the end of the class, she said, make sure you're keeping up with your clusters, because we're seeing that a lot of you haven't finished them in time, and you're going to really kind of play hell if you don't finish them, because they're really long, and number 2 is super long. And so make sure that you start that the day after this class. And I'm like, it's 5 questions. What are they talking about? I have the paper in my hands, and I'm like, these are 5 questions. So that can't be what's long, because it literally takes me 5 minutes to do it. And you're saying you're not seeing it. How would you see it? I've never given it to you. So now I got it. These are not the clusters. What I'm looking at is not a cluster. Okay, I'm aware now. I'm aware. So I go back to all the emails, and there's so many. For everything they do to you on Zoom, they send an email to go along with it. And so I have emails of movies I've already watched and seen on Zoom, and yet they send them in. So I'm like, am I supposed to watch them again? Or I just don't understand, because life. And so I go back to all the original instructions on how to get on, and then there's one line that says you are already enrolled in foster parent college. What the fuck is that? So I go, okay. So I start, what? College? I'm enrolled in a college? Yes. And your email is your username, and your passcode is this, and it's one line on on an email this long. So I guess I'm just so used to, because of work, like skimming stuff. I just didn't take my time. So now it's after the second class, which we've done 4 now. 5 is the last class. It's after the second class, and I don't know what they're talking about with clusters. So I'm one of the people that didn't do the clusters. So I'm like, shit. I don't like to be one of the people that didn't do anything, because that's not who I am. Like, as a human being, like, I have to. Anyway. So on top of that, we've had this huge amount of, like, a hiring. And I train all those people. So I'm going in, training all those people, doing my regular work afterwards, trying to do it in an 8-hour shift so I can drive home and start these drive home and start the clusters, right? So I drive home. I'm almost like too exhausted to worry about food. Like, I just like, whatever. Soup's been great. I've been eating at work a lot, so I don't eat when I go home. But I found a bag of old marshmallows. They're like stale, so I've been nipping on those. Like, what is life? So anyway, so I go in and I enroll or finish, sign up for my clusters, and I start the first one. And I think to myself, it can't be longer than the actual class, but I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. It is bigger than the class. So now I'm like, what? Great. Is this going to be like this all the way up? Hold on. The harmonics of... Anyway, I'll talk over it. So, I haven't done any of this crap. And it's not the kind of thing that I can, like, put on my, like, laptop and just, like, listen to. It's interactive the whole way. Like, every page, you have to turn the page. You have to know what it says to fill the questions out that come along. And if you get them wrong, they're going to explain why you're wrong. And, like, then you have to get them right. So there's no even... And I swear to you, this is how slow this is. It says... Jonathan was having trouble understanding his teacher. Mary, his foster parent, called the school and wanted to set up a meeting for an IEP. Later that day, she decided to call more of her team members. And those team members... Okay, and my life is not that. That's not my life. So I'm getting anxiety from how slow this is talking. So I go to my computer and I fudge it around and I get it to go faster because I can, like, suck shit in quick. So I put it on 2 times the speed. And now everybody in this college course is like, Mary went to the doctor and the doctor said it was time for maybe her Ritalin, but Ritalin isn't appropriate for children. Chipmunks are teaching me shit. Yeah. But the cool thing is, I love the 2 teachers for the class that we're getting face-to-face. Like, I like who they are. I like that they allow you your own opinions. I did get a little nervous with some of the people. Listen, I'm an old hippie. I am so good with, like I don't believe in hitting kids, and I believe there's a way to reason and logic even with a baby, and I feel like that stuff has to come so early, and like it's just a whole different way of looking at stuff. Like, I remember with my kids, I would put them in a chair and tell them to be patient. Like, let's practice being patient. I think I brought this up before. Practice certain things, and then when you're in a store, you don't have the kid. And my kids were never the kid that flipped out in a store for a toy. Like, never, because logic. And if you use logic, everybody uses emotions, and their emotions get them to use more emotions. And the truth is, guys, emotions are liars. They tell you things. They tell a little girl, a little boy thinks like, I'm never going to get that toy again, instead of, I can't have that toy today, but maybe now that Ma knows that I really want the toy, I can bring it up to her a couple more times, and when I deserve a toy, or when it's my birthday, or when it's Christmas, or maybe a special occasion, maybe I can get that toy. Those things don't go through a child's mind. Like, they don't even have the tools for that. So teach them the tools for that, and you'll have somebody who has a very kind of personality. I tend to have an personality. When people get angry and loud and mad, yeah, when I was younger, did I snap back? Sometimes. But a lot of times, what I found was, if I lower my energy, they'll go with me. And I think that has to do with, I honestly believe it has to do with kind of being a natural leader, and not in the way, like, I don't think people that bully, or people that yell, or people that are stoic and silent, I don't believe that the reason why they're doing it for reaction. I don't want a reaction. I want action. I'm different. I don't want that. I want you, and that doesn't mean I don't get angry. Of course I do, especially if it's an injustice. If somebody comes to me and says they think something's unfair because it didn't go their way, like that's a hot button for me. Like, don't be a victim. You're not powerless. I don't care what you think you can't do. You always have a choice. Things like that. So I'm a little different of a bird, when it comes to that. And last night on the class, they were talking about LGBTQ community, and of course I'm the B out of that, and so I was like, my ears pricked up, and they were like saying, you have to let a child like be who they are, and I was like, absolutely. And they were saying, like, you might have to advocate. And I could think of nothing better to do with my life, and I was like, yeah, deal with that. You have a nice little feminine boy, leave him alone, let him be him. They make really good husbands and really good boyfriends if you have a little femininity in you. We all have both, so I tend to be the guy in relationships, as you can probably tell. But anyway, I think leadership comes from calmness and being able to think through to the next side. I think leadership, when you're right, you have to stand tall on that, and when you're wrong, you got to tell people, you know what, I'm human, I'm wrong. I think leadership has more to do with creating relationships of trust, so that, like, when the people walk out that work for me, I want them to believe, and I really believe they do feel this way, that I wouldn't fuck them over. Like, and I try to nurture that in them. I try to nurture that in humans, to don't go the easy road just because it's the easy road. It's so tempting, but it almost never works out the way you think. And anyway, I'm just a little bit different, I think, and I think everybody's different. I'm not saying better, I'm saying different. So we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to get my first child. I have a whole lot. I've got a home study, because in Maryland, where I live, they don't just do foster care alone. They do foster care / adoption. So when you're done with the foster care side of stuff, and let's say you have a child in your home, and you guys jive like really well, and parental rights are terminated, you're the first one that gets offered to adopt that child. And so although I'm not going into this thinking, oh, I'm going to adopt children, if that happened, and I would know if it was right or not, So in my mind, I'm like, okay, that sounds like real. No. Sometimes I hate being behind drugs. So if that happened, that would be fine with me. Like, I would not hate that, but it would have to be a circumstance where we really kind of meshed, because I live in a tiny house, blah blah blah. Anyway, what you go through is the same process you would go through if you were adopting out of foster care. So even if you don't ever adopt, that's the idea. So, and I love the idea. This, oh, Jesus God. This truck is like sending rocks all over the friggin' place. Did that hurt me? Did my windshield go? No, okay. So anyway, yeah, so it's intense because you have to do like a home study, just like an adoption. You have to do like all kinds of stuff. So that's what I'm in the middle of. And like before I can do a home study, I have to do the washer and dryer. That back room has to be drywalled. Like I have a handful of projects that have to get done before I could have a kid in my house. So, and I want that. So I'm trying to push for that. My job is very precarious right now, which is scary to me. Because we did better last month, but it's still like on this tightrope, and we're not doing well at the beginning of this month. So a lot of that is the fact that we don't have a lot of material and not a lot of people in the store. So after I train these guys and get them in a store, I'm hoping that all releases, you know. I have this kid I didn't hire yesterday, and I'm kind of feeling bad about it because, like, I wonder if he would have done well. He's very shy, and shy doesn't usually work. But when he talked to me on the phone, I mean, he had to psych himself up to talk to me. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just feeling guilty. I don't know. But anyway, that's why I have all these videos. I have videos of like 3 different nights. I have videos of like so many different things that I've been doing. I have videos of the dogs. I have videos of these apples I got that are an amazing, amazing size. They're like huge apples. Like I never saw apples like this in my life. It's like crazy. So anyway, I have all this stuff, and I just haven't had not one day to sit down and edit like 3 of them and put them up like each day. Come on, dude, move over. And put them up like every day as we go or something, because they're gonna get so old they won't even be like in date. So yeah, so that's that. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I just want to explain that. I'm so sorry, guys, I swear. You know what I'm gonna do? As soon as I'm done with all this school stuff and the home stuff, I'm gonna do a free readings weekend, just because I love you and I'm sorry and you deserve it for even coming here after all the bullshit. Seriously, I'm so sorry. Hopefully I will have a little munchkin run around the house, and I won't be able to show you their face, but you know, if we do things from behind and stuff, it'll be cute. Like, I'll make sure to include you. Wouldn't that be awesome, just to have a child in my home again? I miss being a mom. It'd be really cool. And I love the idea that they really try to get the parent back together, and they allow you the ability to like try and help fix it. I would love that, like to be able to partner with a parent to help them be a better parent. Fuck, man, I'm all about that. I am all about that. So we'll see what happens. I love you guys. Bye. Sorry again. Bye.